right, here we go. We have Nikita Turner from Turner Car Rentals on YouTube
Hello, nice to meet you
Conversations.
guys. Hello.
All right, so I look forward to getting to know you. I know you're a businesswoman, young and about her business, very serious, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's get into it. So you have a car rental business, right?
Yes, I do. I actually started my rental business in April of 2021. So it's going almost on a year now. Been going strong.
April. Okay, so you started after the pandemic, right?
Uh, I did start a little after the pandemic, yes.
That was kind of brave. What made you want to start you wasn't nervous that, cuz everything's kind of going to downhill?
No, for me, I actually got fired during COVID.
Mm,
So for me, the worst of the worst in my mind had already happened, right? So I had to think of a way to now survive after the food on my table was snatched away from me when I got fired. And that was when I developed the courage to actually go out and do it because at this point I had nothing to lose. And it actually worked out in my favor. And then I started with my own personal car. And then from there, I started to build my fleet. And then now we're here.
okay. During the pandemic when that first hit, I know I was cuz I had another business and I was extremely paranoid. I was like this can't be happening now. But
Right.
it was good. Business business turned out to be really well. Was you thriving during the pandemic financially?
I was well, I had started my business a little after the pandemic, but during the
Yeah.
pandemic, I was working regular 9 to 5s. I wouldn't say I was thriving, I was surviving. I never actually I got fired September September of 2020. So that was the pandemic. Like it was that in the middle of the pandemic, a little after the pandemic kind of.
What, in April?
Um no, September of 2020.
Oh, September was like days of it, kind of like like things are kind of trying to get back to normal.
Yeah, so I had got fired around that time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So let's talk about the first vehicle, the first rental. You said it was your personal car, right?
Yes.
Okay. Walk me through that. What made, like, when you decided to give your car out to rent it out? What was you thinking? Tell me the moment you thought about it. What was you thinking?
Well, I got the idea from watching YouTube, and I saw people who were out already doing it, talking about it, and this and that. At the time, like I said, I got fired, so I was looking for ways to pay my bills. Um, and so getting into the car rental, when I was like, hey, I already have a car. Why not just, give it a try? What else do I have to lose? I have a car right here. I put it on this app called Turo, right? Once I put it on the app, I saw that it was getting rented out. My car note was being paid. It was like a huge weight off my shoulder. And I'm like, you know what? I can keep doing this as many times as I want as long as I'm able to get the cars. So that's kind of how that happened.
Okay. Now, was you kind of nervous that things may go wrong with your only vehicle?
No, not at all because I definitely had to change my mindset because a lot of people are like, I don't want nobody to drive my car, like what if it gets into an accident, this and that. But for me, I started looking at cars as an asset. So, I educated myself a lot, and that's why there's insurance. So, even if my car were to get into an accident or damaged in any way, as long as I do the right things, then I'll be covered, and there's really no loss or nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing but experience. So you have an online course. Is it an online course?
Yeah, so it's a pre-recorded class.
Okay.
I teach folks how to get started into the rental car industry, and everything that I teach is everything that I've been through myself. So yes, I do have a course. I do.
Okay. Let's talk about module one. I thought it was very interesting. You said mindset. That's the name of module one, right?
Yes.
Talk about that. Why did you want to name that? The first step is the mindset.
Because I believe when you go into business, whether it's car rental business or any type of business, you have to change your mindset. Your mindset has to be of a certain level. I feel like anybody that wants to be successful needs to have that mindset. I think a lot of people just look at my Instagram and they think that they can take my course and then within a week they're where I'm at, when it doesn't work like that. So I wanted to start off my course with reminding people that, hey, as long as you have the proper mindset, you're in this for the long term. This is a commitment. This is a grind, hustle, execution. I wanted to put that in people's heads before they actually got into the class, because it starts with your mind for sure.
Yeah, it's just like the some like the music industry now. Just you just turn your camera on, and you could be famous, right? But during the process, the
Exactly.
issue is that you don't go through those hurdles of the record labels, all these character building. So you just people just want to start their business. Like I want to start, but you don't have an LLC. You don't have a corporation yet. Slow down, relax.
Exactly.
Take the course, study, right? Study the course and
Study.
understand your field. Maybe sometimes volunteer, right? Work for another car dealership or rental place for a few months and just understand the business. But um, tell me, what is um, when you have a new customer for the most part? What's one of the things that you like the most about just new people? Fresh minds and so forth.
I'm sorry. Can you say that? Repeat the question one more time.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so like when you have a new person that's interested in your course, what is something that you're usually I guess you're kind of happy to hear about, with new minds, someone that's excited. Like, what do you get out of that?
I love hearing from people who have taken my courses. I actually have several students who have reached out to me after taking my course and who have actually executed on the information. And that's the key word, executed, because you can buy anybody's course and just sit on the information. But the students that have reached out to me about my course and actually executed, it feels so good to know that just from sharing my knowledge of what I've been through and my experience can actually help somebody build their own business. So it feels great. I love it. I love it.
Is there any time that you wanted to actually quit?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you know, just like anybody else, I'm human. So there's my days where I'm like, man, I never thought that I would be managing this many cars. This is a lot.
Mm.
Of course, stuff happens. Nothing's perfect. I make mistakes, which is a reason why I decided to make the course, so that people will always make mistakes. There's no way to be perfect, but it's just you're more likely to make a little less mistakes when you learn from somebody who's already been through it. But yeah, no, definitely. I have those days, but at the end of the day, I'm getting right back up. So
What do you say to people that want to start immediately investing and buying cars and so forth? What do you say to those people that probably don't have unlimited amount of money to invest in cars? And what's some of the things? Sort of one of the things, of course, set up your corporation, set up the legal stuff, take your course. Once they're done taking your course, what do you suggest after your course?
um, after my course, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but I always suggest for people, if you don't have the money or the means, work on your credit, because the great thing about credit is you can have $0 in the bank. You can have literally no money. But if you have good credit, you can go to the bank and ask the bank for money and then use that money to go get the cars, or then go get whatever it is you want to get into, whether it's Airbnb, car rentals, e-commerce. Use that money to begin your business and then start having money coming in. And then yeah, so that's my recommendation.
So tell me in a moment you wanted to quit, right? Because I was homeless at one point. I owned several businesses, but I to pay the employees, I didn't have no. It got really bad, But something hit me where I just said, I'm gonna make this work. When I always told myself that, but when I really decided to make it work, it just started work. It didn't work like that, but I just started to reach out to certain people and try to figure out stuff. So when you wanted to quit, right? When you got your low, kind of like your low point, um, what would you thinking at that moment that kind of made you want to keep going? Because a lot of your clients do go through that, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we all go through stuff. We all go through stuff, and I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I actually when I got fired, I lost my job, and I was at a certain point I was sleeping in my car. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I couldn't see like the light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, so basically I just kind of use that as motivation to keep going, because at the end of the day, the worst that can possibly happen to me at this point is going back to sleeping in my car, which I have already been there, so it's nothing to be afraid of. And two, I plan on never going back, so it's kind of like either way it goes, whether I end up back there, it's like I've already been there. If I get back there, I know what I need to do to bounce back. But the motivation really is to never go back there. So I'm not fearful of anything at this point, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, absolutely. And a lot of people don't understand, I'm pretty sure you see some people just playing with it, right? Just playing with it because they have something to fall back on. But people like us that, we don't have much to fall back on, maybe we have loved ones, but they're messed up too, right?
Yeah.
So it's different for me and you because our failure means that, there's no one when you realize there's no one that's coming to save you. Like you're in your lowest point, it's like,
Mm.
wow, I don't even think God's saving me in a sense,
Yes.
it's different. You like, you just say, if you didn't pick yourself up, you would still be there or worse, right? Your car would have been towed by now.
Exactly. And that right there, that was a gem, because it took me to be at the lowest point in my life to finally realize, like, wait a minute, nobody's coming. Nobody's going to come. And if I don't figure something out, I'm going to be in this position for the rest of my life. And that was something I was not trying to be a part of. So, yeah, I just think some people, they either let the troubles that they're going through consume them to the point where they can't, they won't get up and go do it. They just gave up. But I think like people like us, I use it as motivation to go and get it. It's my motivation.
Yeah, and also I think that there's some people need to learn that, okay, you need to fall back a little bit from your goals, right? You need to get a job
Yes.
to
Yes.
fund that,
Yeah.
It's time to get a 9 to 5, which is okay. Get a 9 to 5 and fund that. Take some energy pills, take some vitamins, and then after that job, you can start working on that. But a lot of people need to understand you may need 2 jobs, 2 9 to 5s. As long as
Yeah.
you have a time limit, right? I've been low.
Exactly.
I know the feeling.
No, that's 100%. 100%.
So, what now? Also, have you learned? Have you experienced that not all clients are good clients?
Oh yes, yes. That was one of my biggest lessons that I had to learn from. In the beginning, I was, I'm new to this. I'm new, so I'm just kind of taking every client because that's money. But at the end of the day, there are good clients and there are bad clients, and so now I make sure to vet my customers. So I vet my customers. You don't not all business is good business, and you want to avoid the bad business. So yes, I definitely have. Yes.
Yeah, when you're first starting, take everyone you possibly can, but expect everything you possibly gonna get, right?
Exactly.
Refunds and crazy chargebacks. That's the I hate chargebacks,
Yeah.
especially when the person got the full service, but it's part of the game, right? And then
It's
as you
part of the
get
game.
better, um, you start to vet, you start to look, you speaking to something like, mm, nah.
Yeah, because it can really end up costing you money, if you mess with the wrong people, honestly.
Yeah, man. And with business, when it comes to accepting credit cards, too many chargebacks, they don't want to deal with you. Then that's when you're wrecking. Other company, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a huge mess. So, what about your first client? Right? You remember your first client?
As far as a rental car or my course?
Of course.
Okay.
Do you remember your the first person that purchased?
Yes, I do. His
You
name
do,
is Keenan.
Keenan. Okay, what was the experience that when you got that first? You got paid for your first person. Did you realize,
Oh
wow,
my
this is real?
God. It's like with the courses, it's definitely a business. And when I hear the cha-ching go off on my phone, that's when I know I got a sale for my course. And I just love hearing that sound, because it's like it's the 21st century. You can make money. Sometimes I'm just laying down watching TV and I hear cha-ching, and I'm like, wow, like that was so nice. But Not only that, it was a great feeling knowing that somebody believed in me enough to purchase my course. And then just proud of myself for being able to put in that work to create a course and also help people actually really do this. So it's a great feeling.
Now, what about your first client for the car rental? Do you remember the first person?
Yes, I do. It was
How
actually a friend.
how was that experience?
It was actually a good experience. He ended up renting the car from me for like as soon as I got the car, or so yeah, as soon as I put it up for rent, he rented it from me, and he had it for a long time, and he definitely helped me out on my first month just by being a customer. Um, and yeah, I was able to learn a lot. And since he was my friend, I was able to make mistakes, and he understood, and so it was like a great way to learn, and then also get that experience at the same time.
Very important for new business people. Get your test
Yes,
clients, right?
yes, I definitely recommend test clients. Yes,
Even if you think you haven't figured out, get some people to
yes,
test on. Get your brother, give him some discounts, right? The first test people. What was the
exactly.
feeling when you got your first client? It was a friend, but that person paid you. Like when you got nothing becomes real until you get funds, right?
Right.
What was that experience? Just
It was so the first time, technically the first time I rented out my car was also a life-changing moment for me because it switched my mindset for real from a 9 to 5 to a entrepreneur. Like, no, this is what I want to do, because have that feeling of somebody giving you money versus you having to go out and go find it or go get it is two completely different feelings. To have the money come to you in your hand for just because of what you provide or what you offer or the service, whatever it is just an unmatched feeling that I never want to go away.
yeah, I mean, your ideas and everything seems like it's great, but um, nothing really matters until you get that first. I don't care if it's $10, 200. When you get your first paid through the, I mean, everything's done right. It's paid through the system. They fill out the form, whatever the case may be. And you have the money in your hand. It's like, wow, this is a business.
Yeah, and for a while I had to I like struggled with myself, like, no, I am a business. I'm a business now. Like, this is what I do. I am a business. I am an entrepreneur. It was a new experience that in the beginning I had to embrace and claim and get used to. Yeah.
Yeah, So, what was just tell me like kind of like one of your worst experiences.
One of my worst experiences with the courses or the rentals.
Probably the rentals is probably worse, right? And
So
the only reason I'm asking you about that so other people can understand that, like you said, you see Instagram, you think it's all success. It's a lot. You have. It's not just knowing the course; it's also being smart, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. So, well, one, I'll give one example. There's several, but I'll give one example.
Okay.
I had to go repossess my own car. So this person wasn't paying their what they owe. So I had to go literally physically go take my own car back. But it was a learning lesson. But I have two pairs of keys to every car. So all I had to do was, and I track all my cars. So I knew where the car was. And then I had an extra spare. So all I had to do was go to the car, hop in, and drive it back to my location. Um, and then, I got the other key back because they had property in the car and they needed to come get that property. So they gave me the key back. But that right there was a learning lesson for me as far as keeping cards on file.
Mm.
So this was like in the kind of like in the beginning. I was trusting them to just pay with cash. I had their driver's license and everything else like that. But as far as when it came to payment, um, usually they like will extend the car, but when they extend the car, that means they owe more money than they already paid for. So
Mm.
that's when it gets tricky. And yeah.
Yep, so yeah, this just people are just also is important to remember. I'm from New York, right? New York
Mhm.
City, Brooklyn, New York, Queens, New York. There's just some people, um, they're very experienced in scamming. They're very, very experienced, and they if they when they speak to you, they see if they think you're kind of weak any kind of way, they'll come to your business and they'll do whatever you say, credit, debit, whatever. It's not even there, crazy like they figure out all kinds of ways and just like I'm struggling. What the hell? I'm just starting, and then,
Man, yeah, I've had people try to send me because uh, if they want to rent my car without the third party app Turo, I require them to have their own car insurance. So I've had people try to fake insurance cards and all types of stuff, and they, like you said, they will go out of their way to try to finesse you.
yeah, so what do you think about Tiffany Haddish? She recently got caught with DWI, falling asleep at the wheel. Speaking of cars,
Ooh,
that's sad. That's
it's sad, yeah, but that's one of my biggest fears is somebody doing something like that in my car, and I end up responsible in some way. But never drink and drive or anything, guys. So
yeah. You think that's common sense, but it's not, right?
it's really not. And honestly, I think unfortunately it's really common, as
Mm,
more common than a lot of people really think as far as drinking and driving. I see it all the time. People, go to the club in their car and then go back in their car, drive home. Um, but yeah, it's definitely very serious because one mistake and anything could happen.
yeah, it's yeah. What do you think about allowing people in your business? You know, um, hiring or working with the wrong people can really mess up everything you've done. Have you kind of experienced something like that?
Yeah, I've tried to have, I've had tried to have business partners to, because at the end of the day, in order to grow and scale your business, you have to have a team. You have to have help. You really can't do it by yourself. So for me, and I'm still learning, trying to get over this. Is and which is why I still don't have employees as of yet. It's hard to find people that you can trust and
Mm.
who have that mindset. I think mindset, like I said, is everything because you can't do business with everybody. Technically, you can't. You can't.
No, you definitely can. I mean, I've had that experience of being nice, opening up, giving, and they just like, oof, like I did something to you, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So one of the so what is your nationality?
My nationality, well, my parents are from the country of Belize. So I would be Belizean. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, and Belize people are considered what, black or?
Well, my so like in just like out here in America, you have black people, Hispanic people, but
Oh,
they're
okay, okay.
Americans. It's the same way in Belize. My parents are Belizean, but my dad is black, and my mom is like of Hispanic descent.
Descent. Okay.
Hmm.
So one of the lead causes of blacks dying is heart attack, HIV, diabetes, and right now one of the biggest leading things is liver disease. Right? You seem very fit. Right? Do you work out?
Um, I don't work out as of right now, but yes, when I was younger, I was very, very athletic. I worked out every day. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'm very familiar with being active and physical. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you don't work out, like some jobs are like I'm sitting down all day, right? It's important for me to get up, right? So what do you say to people that do take your course? It's also about stuff that's outside of the business that's going to help you keep running because there's plenty of people they kill themselves working, and then they finally get the money, and now that's spent on medical bills.
Right. I'm sorry. So what was the question?
So the question is, what do you say to people that come to take your course? What else do they need to do outside of the profession, health wise?
Right. So as far as health wise and even mental health wise as well, um,
Yeah.
definitely. So I it's, you have to keep yourself energized. I know a lot of people struggle with being lazy, but that just has to do with what you eat. Are you being physical? Um, it's okay. I feel like entrepreneurs or people in business, we think that we have to work 24/7, no days off, no sleep. But I think otherwise. I think it's important to get rest where you can. Obviously, do the work, put in the work where you need to, and get things accomplished for sure. But it's okay to rest. It's okay to have a mental break. It's okay to do these things so that you can function at 100%, because you can't function at 100% if you're not taking care of yourself as far as what you eat, what you're feeding your mind, and stuff like that. So definitely there's a lot of outside aspects to having and running a business.
Yeah, running owning the business, not like working for someone, right? Did you work more hours when you was working for someone or when you work for yourself?
When I work for myself, 100%, 100%. I was up from like 7 in the morning, didn't get home till 11 at night. But at the end of the day, even though I was physically working way more, um, it was worth it. And the more that you put in the work like that, the less and less that you actually work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you start working smart, you start understanding that
Yeah.
online is your friend. Automations, right?
Yes.
Automation.
Yes.
Someone clicks something, it clicks something, clicks something, and like you say, you get that little ching. That was automation, right?
Automation is that's one thing I learned. Is automation. So now everything, even if I were to start a new business, I have now the mindset of automation off the bat, because um, that's really what it is about, in my opinion. When you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, is you don't actually want to work in your business forever. I know I don't. Like, I want to be able to, like I said, just be on the couch and I hear cha-ching on my phone, or I look at my sales for the day for my rental car business, and everything is good and green because I put in the work already.
Yeah. What are some of the things you feel like you sacrifice to
Mm.
make it, right? Meaning that like your friends text you, hey, let's go out. And you had to make that decision to, am I gonna stay up 3 o'clock a.m. and do this while they're coming in from having fun? So is there some sacrifices you felt like you made or you?
Yes, and this is another thing that people don't see on social media. I made a lot of sacrifices. I had to sacrifice friends. I had to sacrifice my last relationship. I had to separate myself from my family. I had to just isolate myself in order to get to where I needed to go. Because and that brings up another point. Your circle is either going to make or break you. Your circle is either going to make or break you. So I definitely had to sacrifice friends, family, boyfriends. Yeah, so that's I sacrificed a lot of nights to where, oh, you want to go out? Like, let's go do this, let's go do that, and I'm like, I can't, because I know in the long run it's gonna hurt me.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting one of my low points of starting a business, and I was telling my friend about it. He's like, oh, that sounds great. I mean, I thought he was my close friend from childhood. And he's like, yeah, man, that's just really expensive. And then he said, all right, I gotta get ready. He spent, I think, $120 on Uber from the Bronx to New Jersey. And
Mm,
then guess what? He gotta get home, right? So he's
right.
gonna have spend that amount to come back. And I was just like, and that's when I realized, I said, okay, I've never spoken to him again. I didn't even tell him why. I just said, okay, really? To go do that? I'm good. You know? You just start to realize you have one life, you have a certain amount of time that you don't know how much time, and I just can't play with it. I don't have the luxury that you have?
Exactly. Exactly. And in that moment, I'm pretty sure you realize, wait, we just are two different people. We think completely different. It's two different mindsets here. Like, you're gonna lead me down the wrong path. I'm gonna just go. I've done that to where I don't even say anything. I'm just like, you know what? I can't do
It's
this.
all good. And I'm not mad that, my friend has an option to make that purchase somewhere else, which is fine, but I was trying to eat that night. No, I'm serious. I was trying to eat, that sale was supposed to help me get some food for the night. And I
Mm-hmm.
just said, okay, you know what? I don't like eating shit. I don't like eating shit. It doesn't taste good, and I don't want to live like this no more. That was actually like my real breaking point, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I just went to my family, and I said, listen, I promise I'm gonna pay you back because listen, if somebody really wants something, right, and they can't afford it, they'll get it. People don't have money to go to the club. All of a sudden, they find this money to go to the club, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I borrowed money and I took some courses from a sales guy called Grant Cardone. You've heard of him before,
Of
right? Grant
course.
Cardone. Took that, spent some money. Told my mom, brother, sister, I'll pay you back. I promise. I promise. I wasn't gonna. I couldn't have paid him back. No way. I didn't know. I'll pay you back next week. I knew I wasn't, but I pay you back next week. And I just took the course and I just focused in and I just and here we are talking to you now, right?
Yes.
So listen, right? So um, what do you? There was a just general topics. What do you think about? There was a post on social media about boys shouldn't have kitchen sets because it may make them feminine. Did you hear about that?
Wait, what did the post say again?
The post was about toy kitchen sets for little kids.
Oh, toy kitchen sets. I
Kitchen
heard
sets. Yeah.
it was a controversy about a boy having a kitchen set.
What do you think about that?
I don't think that's a problem at all. I I mean it's just cooking, right?
Most cooks and most chefs are men.
Yeah, I've dated guys who love to cook, like love to cook. Like they don't even want me to cook. They just want to cook. I don't see the problem with that. I don't think it's feminine for a boy to want to learn to cook. I think that's like you have to feed yourself. I don't see anything wrong with that.
The thing about it's crazy when you think about that, right? Would you have kids one day? I know you currently don't have any. Do you want to have children?
I do. I want to be married and I want to have a family, all
Okay,
that.
I know that. Okay, so you say you want to be family, right? Do you feel like you're doing things currently to be a wife?
That's a good question. Um, yes. I feel like I'm, obviously establishing myself. But that's a kind of confusing question because it's like, what is a wife? Like, what makes somebody a wife, essentially? Because I feel like I'm a wife. I don't know if I'm doing things to prepare myself to be a wife. I know I'm doing things to prepare myself to be just a better person in general. I've never thought about it as I'm preparing myself as a wife, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's probably like millions of meanings, right? But us as blacks, we're the least prepared for marriage because a lot of us hasn't has in the United States hasn't witnessed it. So my definition of that is first of all loving yourself, right? Being complete and whole mentally, yourself, having yourself together mentally, loving yourself, and finding out what would a partner want. You know,
Right.
simple question. Should a woman cook for a man?
Yeah, so and everyone grew up in a different situation, but for me, I grew up with both my parents in the household. My parents have been married my whole life. They're still in love today. So I was fortunate enough to see that role a man is supposed to play and the role that a wife is supposed to play. And yeah, in my opinion, a woman, but like we said earlier, there's men who like to cook. So but at the end of the day, yeah, the wife should be taking care of the home as far as the meals, the kids, the cleaning the house, stuff like that. And then the man is there to provide, put bread on the table, roof over the head. So it is definitely 50-50 in that way, not financially, but as far as like, okay, his home is taken care of. All he has to do is worry about bringing the bread home for his family.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate dating in 2022?
How much do I rate dating on a
you
scale of
you
what?
about to say a hot mess?
Oh,
On a
one.
scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, one.
It's so bad, right? It's like, woo, my ex was not that bad, right?
No, it's a 1. It's really, yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah, I think there's not, I don't think there's miscommunication anymore. I just think that people don't care to listen. They don't care to listen,
I
you
think
know?
another thing is we're in the social media era. So I feel like people feel like they have so many options. You know what I mean? It's like, you have access to thousands of people just on Instagram. Look how we came in contact. All you did was slide in my DMs. It was like, hey, do you want to be a part of the podcast? Yes. And it goes the
Yeah.
same way for dating. It's that simple, just to go into someone's DMs and, you know, so you have access to thousands of people, and people think that the grass is always greener somewhere else, and they're always going to feel like that. So they rather just, seek out their options versus settle down.
Do you prefer talking to someone online, like dating wise, or you prefer to see them in person?
Um, hmm. I think and I think I would say I'd like to start online first, not really in person. Um, I like to start online because it's like, okay, we can talk on the phone for a while. We can get to know each other through the phone before I feel like, okay, you're cool enough, or I like you enough to take it further. Because me, I date with intention. So if I'm talking to you, it's gonna be for potentially long term. So I like to get to know you like online first, see if we can have a conversation on the phone, see if we can hold a conversation, and then from there we meet up and then see where it goes. So that's what I prefer.
Yeah, I prefer in person, right? Like if I
Mm.
see you, talk to you, you know how I look: tall, short, fat, skinny, light skin, dark skin. You saw it already. That's your fault. You saw it already, right? Um, a lot of the guys, a lot of men don't know how to converse with women. They really don't. They mess up. They say too much. They say too little. They're weird. It just, they just say some weird stuff and just like, just treat like she's a human. Just relax. Yeah, the dating, and I think that has to do a lot to do with just too much social media. Too much social media where a lot of guys, they just seem like weirdos, right? Like just don't know how to converse.
No, I agree. I feel like in my experiences, a lot of men, when they first meet me, I don't know if it's because they're nervous or they don't know what to say, but I feel like they're interviewing for a job position when they talk to me. Like they're just like, oh, I do this and I do that, and just trying to pick paint themselves to look a certain way, instead of just being genuine and just, hey, we're two people getting to know each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Real simple. Walk up to a woman you see. First of all, I always tell people, make sure the coast is clear, meaning that make sure she's not with someone. He's not like out there in the back and then come out of nowhere. Make sure the coast is clear, right? Walk up to say, hey, listen, I was over there, you look beautiful, and then my name's AR. And shut up, shut up. Make sure Hopefully she'll ask you what's your name, and then you continue. But from that moment, if she's not interested, say, hey, man, you know what? Have a blessed day. And just walk. Well, it's all good, right? There's a lot of other people out there, right? What do you think about the first date? Should a man pay for the first date?
Yes, off top.
That sounds crazy, right? That conversation, that a lot of the um that conversation is floating around. Men
Is
shouldn't
it?
pay
I
for the
don't think
first
it
date.
even should be a conversation. What is your opinion on it?
Um, like you said, you're dating with intention. It doesn't listen. If you're just trying to smash or you're dating with intention, you got to pay. It costs to be the boss, right? You got to pay. And now, as a man, it's your choice to figure out if you want it to be expensive or you just want to have a casual. I don't think the first date should be expensive. I don't mean, but you need to pay. You need to pay. If you claim you're going to be the guy that's going to take care of her, right, from now to 30 years, 50 years from now, pay the mortgage, pay the rent. If you're going to do that, $100 or $35 or $40 meal is not going to kill you. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. If it is, then, don't date. Get your money right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is my opinion. Maybe people are gonna hate me for saying
Mhm.
this, but I feel like as a man, you shouldn't be dating if you can't afford to date.
Absolutely.
So
And you choose where you're gonna go, right? The men choose where the woman's gonna go. So why is it a problem?
exactly.
I would say take it to McDonald's, but McDonald's is expensive too now. You know, McDonald's is not cheap. But just have a good time, be creative, and we have this little thing right here, this little computer that's gonna tell us. You can look up whatever you want. What do you think, right? So you've heard of Kevin Samuels before, right?
I was on his show.
No, oh, you was.
Yeah, I was on his show.
Oh, I gotta look you up. How did that go?
Um, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah.
He definitely opened my mind up to a lot of things. It made me realize a lot of things. But yeah.
Do you feel like it's kind of connecting the message between man and woman? Is that kind of connecting? Because, you know, um, countless of times he says, "Don't wear your bonnet outside," right? Or on his platform, because he has like 20,000. He has a lot of people that's watching, right? And they still, what happens? They come on with a bonnet on, right? I remember he was having men's week. Do you remember he was having men's week when the men would call up?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we gotta have some good looking black brothers on it. No, they was busted. Didn't know how to, most of us speak one language, which is English. You speak one language. Why you don't know it? And it was sad. It's just like, is this what the women have to pick from? A
Yeah,
lot of the
you'll
men
be
that called
surprised.
up, man, they were just not with it, man. But I found out that I find that a lot of the a lot of the successful, attractive men, black men, or just men in general, they're really not online. They're in person. They're out on a date. They're
They're
married and stuff,
outside.
right?
They're outside. Yep.
Yep, they're outside. What do you think is the biggest miscommunication within the black community between man and woman?
The biggest miscommunication. That's a good one. I only can talk from my experience. I don't think I'll be able to answer that because from what I've seen, like I said, my parents are from Belize, so my family is from Belize. So that whole cultural, morally, mindset wise, is completely different from what I I seen different things. Where I come from, marriage is like normal. Like that's normal. Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a man that seeks a woman to provide for. So I don't think I can really answer that question honestly.
Yeah, over here in America, the more common thing is not the marriage, it's the divorce, right? More
Oh, and I
people,
learned that through actually dating. When I would date these men, none of their mothers or fathers were married. It was always dysfunctional, um, toxic. Um, so yeah, I definitely that's very true.
yeah, yeah, it's very, very, very unfortunate. I grew up in a single parent household, and I grew up with a lot of the females were saying that men ain't shit.
Right.
You know, um, so when you brought up with that, um, well, let me ask you, right? So, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have
Okay.
a twin, actually a twin brother and a little sister.
Really? Oh, wow, that's cool. That's awesome, right? Fraternal
Yeah,
or
fraternal. Yeah, he's a boy. Yeah,
wow? Okay, got it. Okay, okay. Um, do any of them get on your nerves?
my little sister.
Okay. So if you were to, she's in America.
Yeah, we're all out here.
Okay. So if you and your siblings and your parents are in one room, what happens?
If me, my siblings, and my parents are in one room,
Yeah.
um, we're talking about something.
Oh yeah. Well, see, with me and my family, if we're in the same room, my wallet's probably missing. You know.
Oh, wow, that's two
Yeah,
different
we gotta have
experiences. Cause
Thanksgiving in different rooms. Yeah, we can't even no.
mm.
But that's very common, especially in New York City. A lot of people just. So, what was your biggest struggle growing up?
my biggest struggle growing up. So like I just said, my parents are from a different country. So my biggest struggle was how strict my parents were. So when I say the word strict, I feel like a lot of people don't understand what I really mean by strict. Like, my whole life was controlled by my parents, which is where I feel like I got my entrepreneurial spirit from, just my go-getting spirit, because I was raised in such a strict household that everything was controlled. I had a curfew all the way up until I was 25.
Oh
um,
wow, okay.
they would when I was in high school, everybody had their phone. They were on AIM, Instagram, MySpace. I didn't have I had a phone, but all I could do was talk and text. My parents would go on the computer, and on the computer they could make my phone cut off at a certain time. So that's the type of strict that I came from. So that for me was my biggest struggle. I feel like I missed out on a lot of my younger years because of it.
Now, do you believe that that's part of the reason why you don't have any children? If they wasn't that
Yeah.
strict, you'd probably be in your fifth child, you know?
You know
No,
what?
seriously,
Now
what
that
do you
I'm an
think?
adult, at the time, I did feel a lot of negativity towards them. But now that I'm older, I understand that it was coming from a place of protection. And yes, I agree. They probably did save me from a lot of possible trauma, a lot of possible, you know, things that could have happened to me. And yeah, probably kids as well, honestly.
So, did you growing up, did you cuz I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up during the crack era
Right.
and I avoided that, you know. Did you grow up around around your outside influences, your friends with drugs?
I did, but I didn't experience that till I was a little older, like college. But yeah, I did. And then a lot of my family members actually are on drugs really bad, like real drugs, cocaine, meth. I actually just had a aunt passed at the age of 42 from the liver that you were
Wow,
just talking
I heard
about.
about that. Wow.
Um, yeah, so I yeah, I've definitely seen it, the impact.
How did you avoid it? What was your
How did I avoid
mindset?
it?
Yeah.
Just simply seeing where it led my family members. So it's like when you see somebody who has been on drugs for a long time, you don't want to look like them and you don't want to be like them. So that's how I was able to avoid it, from just seeing the effects that it brings.
Yeah. So, what would you like to take away from the black community that you believe will help? What's one thing?
One thing that I would take away from the black community, let's see here. One thing that I would take away from the black community is um, at the end of the day, you know, it's a lot of definitely toxicity and dysfunction, but I feel like us as black people, we're very, very strong. To have gone through, throughout history, what we've gone through, and even still now dealing with a lot of stuff, we are still, we're strong. Um, a lot of the world looks up to us as far as trends. We're creative as hell. Like a lot of things have been birthed from the black community.
Yeah. What is something you want to add? Right to the no. What is some? Yes. What is something you want to add? So that's something you want to take away. What is something you want to add that you believe will help us? Maybe we currently have it. You want to see more of it. Maybe from another culture.
Something that I want to add to the black community.
Yeah, that would help us.
Something that I would want to add is kind of like in my culture where I come from, family is everything. Family is like, you need your family. At the end of the day, I know I can call my mom, my dad, my brother, and sister. I feel like in the black community, it's opposite. You know, we have we kill each other. We don't work together. Like I don't know what it is, but it's a lot of drama, a lot of toxicity. So I would take that. I feel like if that were to be taken out of the black community and we can see ourselves as family, everybody, we can literally conquer the world. So that's definitely one thing that I would like to add, is just having that family mindset, and that yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever been on a horrible date?
Oh my God, yes.
So, tell me one of them.
um this one was kind of shocking and appalling to me, but we had went out. It was, he offered. I didn't ask him to take me out. I didn't suggest him to take me out. We went somewhere. The bill was only like $50, so it wasn't a lot. The bill came and he slid the bill to me and was like, "You
Really?
got it." And I'm just like,
Really?
no. Like, I told him straight up. I was like, you know what? I'm not paying for no grown ass man's meal. I'm paying for myself. I'm paying for. If you want me to pay, I'm paying for myself. You can pay for yourself, and we can go. He ended up having like attitude, snatched the receipt back, and was like, "I got it. I'll pay for it." But yeah, that was the worst date ever. I never saw him again after that.
Let me ask you a question, okay? So, do you believe it's okay for, if you're married to someone or you're with them, right? And you're not, for whatever reason, years go past, and it's not that the person got fat, it's not that something's wrong with them. You don't find them sexually attractive anymore, right? Which can happen. Would you tell them?
Yeah, I would tell them.
Sit down and try to figure that out, right? What needs to happen? Maybe you gotta start changing your swag up, right? Changing your gear, whatever, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one key factor that a lot of people don't realize in a relationship is communication. So I would have communicated to him before it even got really that bad. That's because that's all it is. It's just communication. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, I don't like that. Okay, and compromise.
So if you're dating, can a guy come up to you and say, "Hey, listen, babe, you ain't got it anymore. You ain't got it anymore. Whatever. I don't know what the issue is, but you ain't got it anymore." Can he? Is he able to? I mean, obviously, he can word it differently than that, right? But now, would that be a problem?
It would depend on what it is and the approach.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's like, babe, you getting fat, or
okay.
it just don't work as whatever.
If it's something that I knew, like for example, let's just say it's weight, and he comes up to me and he communicates that to me, I personally would accept it, and I could take the criticism because at the end of the day he's expressing his concern, and at the end of the day it's beneficial to my health as well. So it might hurt my feelings, but I know it's going to be something that I need to do, not just for him but for myself as well. But he brought it to my attention.
Yeah, I think gaining weight. If your partner comes up to you and say, "Listen, you gain weight and that's the least of your worries." Could you imagine your partner coming up to you and say, "Listen, you're you didn't gain weight, everything's fine. You're just ugly to me." Could you imagine? It has nothing to do with the way you didn't change. They just don't like it. That's the problem. Now that's a problem, right?
That would be a problem. Yeah, that would be a problem.
So, would you rather get stranded on Antarctica or a desert?
I would say the desert, because I don't like the cold.
Okay, so you want to burn a little bit, right?
Yeah, I want to get a tan.
All right. So, do you get a chance to travel?
Do I get a chance to travel?
Yeah. Have you ever been? Well, you've been to Belize, right?
Yeah. So I've been to Belize. Just 2021. It just passed. I was in Mexico. I went to Washington D.C. I went to Atlanta for the first time. So yeah, I've traveled.
Why do you think you're single? Besides the fact, don't say that's your choice. Why do you think you're single?
Why do I think I'm single?
Yeah, and you can't say that's your choice.
I think I'm single.
Well, are you single? Is the question first. Sorry.
I am single.
Okay, you are. Okay, so why are you single?
Why am I single? I'm single because I feel like I haven't met anyone that would I feel like I could be in a relationship with. Also, I feel like I've only been single for about 6 months now. So I've been on my healing journey. But yeah, those are the two reasons.
And I think it's healthy not to jump from relationship to relationship. Give yourself that time, right? Not too much time. You're not going to be 40 years old calling Kevin, right? Samuels, you're not going to be one of those, right?
Yeah, and that's one thing, like I said, I was on his show, and that's one thing he made me realize that I didn't realize before his show was that, but honestly, before I talked to him, I was like, I'm not dating, like, I don't care, like, I got it all by myself, but, I am getting older, and like I said, I do want a family, a husband, kids, so I need to date. I need to be out there dating in order for that to happen, so.
So, are you under 30?
I'm 26.
You're 26. Okay, yeah, you got. I mean, I hate this. When you say you got time, right? But yeah, finish healing. Make sure it's not too long. Finish healing, and the way I look at it too is that you're gonna when you see that person, it could just be, it could be whatever. Maybe you gotta approach him. Would you ever approach a guy?
No, hell no.
So let's say you're going on 38 years old. Well, you're about to hit the wall. 29, about to hit the wall, and you see a guy you like, but he ain't talking to you. You won't talk to him?
No, I say no simply because I feel like if he isn't already trying to pursue me, then how am I going to get a man? How am I going to get him to pursue me? As a man, he has to pursue. So,
Well, some guys don't think you're into them, right?
I guess I don't be knowing what they be thinking.
Because a lot of female has killed men wanting to go out of their way. For me, the independence, right? The independence kind.
So how do you women approaching you, or do you look at them differently? Do you like it?
I mean, I'm a very dry, plain guy. Okay, I can eat the same lunch for 2 years and I don't get bored. The only thing is that maybe I get sick from eating. I don't get bored, so I'm a very upfront. Um, you know, this is my problem. Okay, I've always had the woman who I don't want come up to me and approach me, and I'm like, where's your friend? I don't want. No, it's not you. Tell your friend to come over here, or their friend will come over and try to and say, "Hey, listen, you're looking really cute. You're looking really good." My friend, no, hell no, not her. That's the luck that I get, But I think it depends. Like you said, you're dating with a purpose, right? You're dating with a purpose. You gotta go. You gotta go for it. You definitely gotta go for it. So I know what I tolerate. I know what I don't, and I get turned off really easy. So um, first few. Let me ask you another question, right? How soon when you went out on the first date, or let's say you got the person you scheduled to go on a date. When do you discuss getting tested?
When do you discuss getting tested for like STDs?
Yeah.
Definitely, it has to be obviously probably like within the first month of meeting. Not too long after meeting, because I'm sure, like,
Yeah.
especially if it goes on to a second and third date, obviously, that the thing is gonna happen,
Yeah.
So I would bring it up within 2-3 weeks of getting to know somebody, because by that point, I think when if you wanna keep talking to somebody kind of off the bat.
Like, I need that the first night.
Yeah.
You never know. But why is it so? Why do you think it's so awkward to ask for the test results? I mean, people when I ask for that, the woman looks at me like I have something, and it's like, but why is this such an awkward? It's a kind of awkward conversation, right?
It could be an awkward conversation, definitely. But it's definitely a conversation that is 100% you need to have. But I think people think that it's maybe awkward or uncomfortable because I don't know. It's just something that people don't really openly talk about. So when people are confronted with uncomfortable conversations, they don't know how to have them, because even when I think about it, nobody really ever, besides having that one sex ed class all the way back in high school, nobody ever really talks openly about it. So it's just I just feel like people don't know how to go about it or like handle that conversation.
Yeah, 'cause whenever I ask that, the question, the woman response is, "Oh, you think you're gonna get some?" Yeah, yeah, I am. So, that's why we're talking about this. Now, because if you look at it like, I'm not gonna thank you for letting me know in advance, right? I would not be going out this Friday.
Right.
So we're in 2022, right?
Mhm.
What can your supporters expect from you this year?
What can they expect?
Yes.
So this year I am in the process actually right now of upgrading my fleet. So my ultimate vision and my ultimate dream is to have an exotic car fleet. Obviously I have to go step by step to get to that point. So this year I look to upgrade my fleet and then get into the Airbnb business. Airbnb specifically because when people book Airbnbs, they're usually on vacation or coming from somewhere else. So guess what? They would also need a rental car. So it's just another way of getting another form of income and also growing my current rental car business.
And how do you want them to support you?
How do I want them to support me?
Yeah.
It's easy to support anybody, but me specifically, just by commenting, sharing, engaging in my posts, giving me shout outs on your story so I can reach as many people as possible, to share the knowledge that I have learned. Yeah, and then also just by tapping on my link tree, supporting on anything that's on there. So that's how they could support me.
All right. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put you in what's called the hot seat. Okay.
Okay.
The hot seat is I'm gonna ask you a question or make a statement. You just respond back with one word.
Okay. Do I have like a certain amount of time?
No, you can take your time.
Okay.
I'm not
All
gonna
right.
rush you. Boom, boom, boom. But just only respond with one word. Okay. So are you ready?
Mhm.
You're not nervous, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So, what state you don't want to live in?
Alaska.
Heads or tails?
Head.
Strip club or church?
Strip club.
Dark skin or light skin?
Dark
Like your
skin.
preference. Dark skin. Um, short or tall?
Tall.
Tall or broke? No, short or broke?
Short.
What if he's broke too?
Oh, no.
America's current state.
Bad.
Um, you in 5 years, relationship wise.
Married.
YouTube or Instagram?
Instagram.
If there was a war, who will win? East Coast or West Coast?
West.
Do you love black people?
I love black people.
Okay. Do you love white people?
No. I wouldn't use love, no.
No? Okay. Winter.
Cold.
Summer.
Hot.
Jesus is white.
False.
How to go to heaven?
Be great.
Are you more of a morning person or night person?
Night.
It's free.
What's the catch?
Right? Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas.
The meaning of your legacy you want to, for your last name.
Inspirational.
Your active clients.
My active clients.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Your past clients.
Amazing.
Your first client.
Wonderful.
Yep. This interview.
Great.
Okay.